creating a perfect Blood Mage Amulet for 10 to 15 divines. Here are the steps to create your Blood Mage Amulet. First, we recombine the item bases. Then, we get the +3 spell skills and critical damage bonus. After that, we apply an Essence of the Abyss and Desecrate. You may need to repeat these steps until you achieve the desired outcome of a life prefix. Next, we get the final life stat and spell damage. Once these steps are complete, your amulet is ready. This process will result in an amulet with the following characteristics. It will have approximately 180 total life, a bonus of +3 to all spell skills, and around 7% increased maximum life, 28% cast speed, roughly 28% increased spell damage, and about 38% increased critical damage bonus. The first step is acquiring our bases. We'll need 2 specific bases to get started. First, we need a base that has a low tier of any stat and a perfect implicit roll. This usually costs around 20 exalts. Second, we'll need a base that has the maximum possible cast speed, typically valued at about 1 divine orb. For the first base, you'll want to perform a specific search. Look for a Bloodstone amulet with an item level of at least 75. It should have an implicit roll of a minimum of 40 to maximum life, and a maximum of 7% increased spell damage. It's important that the amulet is neither corrupted nor sanctified. You can then search for its buyout price using Exalted or Divine Orbs. To find the second base, you'll want to perform a search using these specific criteria: a Bloodstone amulet base with an item level of at least 75 and a minimum of 28% increased cast speed. It's important that the item is not corrupted or sanctified. Set the buyout price to be displayed in either Exalted or Divine Orbs. Now, we'll combine our 2 amulet bases. On the first amulet, which has a low tier mod and a perfect implicit, you'll select the low tier mod. For example, if it's a spell damage tier 6. Then, on the second amulet, choose the perfectly rolled cast speed. To perform this recombination, you'll need an Omen of Recombination. This item typically costs around 40 Exalted Orbs, and using it will give you an 80% chance of a successful recombination. The base is now done. Now, for our first homogenization round, we will be using 3 items: the Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation, the Omen of Greater Exaltation, and a perfect Exalted Orb. These items guarantee a bonus of +3 to all spells and an increased critical damage. Our next step is to desecrate the amulet. Before that, we'll apply an Abyssal mark. This helps us achieve the highest possible tier values without needing an ancient collarbone. This part involves some chance. We'll repeat this process until we get either a top-tier flat life or percentage health modifier. To do this, we will use the Omen of Sinistral Crystallization, Essence of the Abyss, and a preserved collarbone on the amulet. Next, we will unveil the item. Be sure to use an Omen of Abyssal Echoes. This will double the number of rolls you can get. Your goal is to achieve either Tier 1 maximum life, meaning 120 or more, or Tier 1 increased maximum life, meaning 7% or more. If you are on a budget, you can settle for a lower roll, such as Tier 2. This step can often be the most expensive part of the process. If you don't get your desired outcome on the first set of rolls, try re-rolling. If you still haven't achieved it after the second roll, then choose any option except for increased global defenses. If your unveiling attempt isn't successful, don't worry, there's an easy fix. You'll use an Omen of Sinistral Crystallization and a perfect Essence of Enhancement. This process replaces the unwanted modification with an increased defenses line. Now, you can restart the process to try for your life prefix. To do this, use an Omen of Sinistral Crystallization, an Essence of the Abyss, and a preserved collarbone. You'll continue repeating these steps until you achieve a Tier 1 life prefix, or a lower tier if you're on a budget. Occasionally, the Essence of the Abyss might seem to not apply. If this happens, simply keep clicking it until it works. From crafting more than 10 of these amulets, the average number of attempts for me was 6. Please note, this is an average, and individual results may vary. If your budget is limited, it's wise to settle for a lower tier prefix. You've successfully completed the desecration process and obtained the desired prefix for your item. For this second homogenization round, we will be using the Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation, the Omen of Greater Exaltation, and a Perfect Exalted Orb. This combination guarantees that you will achieve an Other Life prefix line of Tier 2 or higher, and a spell damage line also of Tier 2 or higher. If you're on a budget, you can use a Greater Exalted Orb instead. And with that, we're all done. If you enjoyed this crafting tutorial, make sure to like the video and subscribe, and stay tuned for more Path of Exile 2 content in the near future.